In 1968, something unspeakable stirred below. Across 4 moons, 4 beasts from 4 realms were lost to the deep. No cries for help, no souls returned, no light left behind. These weren't crumbling carcasses of old. They were sharpened claws of modern monsters, guided by seasoned hands. Still, they dissolved into shadows. What remained was worse. Fractured bones, cryptic marks, timelines twisted like knots of flesh. Was this mere misfortune, or did something ancient awaken? By the final breath of this tale, you'll see the grotesque signs uncovered, and the blood-chilling riddles that claw at sanity even now. Descend with me. The enigma of Soviet submarine K-129. Far from the sunlit waters of the Mediterranean, deep within the vast and icy realm of the Pacific Ocean, another submarine was on the brink of disappearing. This time, it was the Soviet vessel known as the K-129. The K-129 belonged to the Gulf II class of ballistic missile submarines, a formidable threat during the Cold War era. She was equipped with nuclear weapons and carried 3 ballistic missiles, each capable of unleashing devastation on targets within striking distance. On February 24, 1968, the 129 departed from the Rybaki submarine base, located in the Soviet Far East, embarking on what was supposed to be a standard patrol mission. Like much of the military activity during that tense period, the operation was cloaked in secrecy. For several weeks, the K-129 moved stealthily beneath the waves, undetected, an underwater phantom gliding through the Pacific. But in early March, everything changed. The submarine missed its scheduled communication. Initially, Soviet commanders believed it was merely a routine signal failure, common for vessels operating at extreme depths. But as the days ticked by without contact, initial unease escalated into serious alarm. The Soviet Navy launched an expansive search effort. Over 40 ships and dozens of aircraft swept across thousands of square miles of open ocean, combing the waters for any hint of the missing sub. Still, nothing surfaced. To the Soviet Union, the situation was incomprehensible. A submarine of that size and technological capability doesn't simply vanish unless it had experienced a catastrophic failure. Unknown to the Soviets, however, the United States Navy had intercepted something significant. Using the highly classified SOSA sound surveillance system, an advanced underwater network designed to monitor Soviet submarine activity, they detected an unusual acoustic event northwest of Hawaii. The sound resembled an underwater explosion, distant, powerful, and far-reaching. The recording dated back to March 8, 1968. With this information, the U.S. Navy was able to pinpoint the wreckage of the K-129, resting nearly 5,000 meters beneath the Pacific surface. The submarine's structure was heavily damaged, its hull crushed and torn apart by the immense pressures of the deep. For the Americans, this was a discovery of strategic significance. For the Soviets, it was yet another frustrating dead end. But the saga was far from over. In 1974, 6 years after K-129 had mysteriously vanished, the Central Intelligence Agency CIA initiated an unprecedentedly covert mission, codenamed Project Azorian. The objective? Retrieve parts of the sunken submarine from its final resting place, almost 3 miles beneath the ocean's surface. Such a recovery attempt had never been attempted before. This wasn't just another salvage operation. It was one of the boldest and costliest deep-sea recovery missions ever undertaken. The CIA reportedly invested over $800 million, a sum that would equate to several $billion today, to build the Glomar Explorer, a massive vessel custom designed for the mission. Publicly, the Glomar Explorer was said to be a commercial deep-sea mining ship. The cover story was so detailed and convincing that it fooled nearly everyone, including foreign intelligence agencies and international observers. Why such secrecy and such extraordinary effort? Because K-129 wasn't just another lost submarine. It was believed to house nuclear warheads, encrypted Soviet communication systems, and potentially invaluable information about the USSR's naval technology. The hope was that even salvaging a portion of the submarine could provide intelligence that would give the United States an edge in the Cold War, perhaps even altering its course. The secrecy surrounding Project Azorian remained intact for decades. Even now, many of the mission's results and recovered items are still classified, fueling endless speculation about what might truly have been recovered from the ocean floor. The operation wasn't entirely successful. Using a massive mechanical claw known as the capture vehicle, the Glomar Explorer managed to lift part of the K-129's wreckage, an incredible technical achievement. Among the pieces recovered were torpedoes, fragments of the control room, and the bodies of several Soviet sailors. These remains were reportedly given a solemn burial at sea, complete with military honors. Yet, beyond these details, what the CIA truly retrieved remains a matter of speculation. Was it nuclear arms? Was it the encrypted communications hardware? Or could it have been something even more astonishing? The official narrative remains vague, and the mystery surrounding the CIA's findings has only deepened public curiosity and theories. As for the true cause behind K-129's demise, theories abound, each more puzzling than the last. Some propose mechanical failure, perhaps a missile misfire, or a structural malfunction. Others believe the submarine collided with the USS Swordfish, suggesting a Cold War clash the superpowers agreed to bury. Then there's the Soviet narrative. Sabotage. A rogue crew member they claim may have tried to defect with nuclear weapons, triggering disaster. And here's where the plot thickens. The loss of K-129 wasn't an isolated case. Just weeks earlier, the Israeli submarine Dakar and the French submarine Minerve had also vanished under mysterious circumstances. That's 3 technologically advanced submarines from 3 separate nations, all disappearing within weeks of each other, without warning. Could an unknown force or hidden threat have been behind all 3 incidents? Whatever secrets the K-129 holds, they remain entombed in the shattered metal lying at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, silent, untouched, and every bit as mysterious as the other submarines lost during that shadowy chapter of the Cold War. Even today, the K-129 continues to provoke questions. And perhaps, beneath all that cold, crushing pressure, it still guards answers no one has yet dared to uncover. Dakar, the vanishing of a modernized war machine. Let's turn our attention to the Dakar, a submarine with roots in World War II, originally a British T-class vessel. By the 1960s, the submarine had been overhauled, refitted with modern systems, and brought up to the technological standards of the time. The State of Israel acquired the submarine and carried out an extensive refurbishment. Once completed, the newly enhanced Dakar was assigned to a crew of 69 seasoned sailors. On January 9, 1968, the Dakar departed from Portsmouth, England, setting sail for its final destination, Haifa, Israel. The voyage was expected to be uncomplicated, just under 3 weeks at sea. During most of the transit, operations went smoothly. The Dakar maintained consistent communication, reporting her coordinates and operational status at regular intervals. However, on January 24th, as the submarine neared the eastern edge of the Mediterranean Sea, something unexpected occurred. That evening, the Dakar transmitted a routine status message. Everything seemed normal. Then, all communication ceased. No mayday, no emergency alert, just silence. By January 25th, the Dakar was officially declared missing. What followed was a colossal effort to locate the submarine. Israel initiated one of the most expansive maritime search and rescue missions in its naval history. The United States Navy and other allied forces joined the operation. Ships, planes, and high-tech sonar swept across the Mediterranean in all directions. Despite their combined efforts and exhaustive search grids, the ocean yielded nothing. The Dakar had disappeared without a trace, as if swallowed whole by the sea itself. It wouldn't be until 1999, over 3 decades later, that the mystery would gain a crucial clue. The wreck of the Inns Dakar was finally discovered. The remains were located nearly 3,000 meters beneath the surface, lying between the islands of Cyprus and Crete. The submarine's hull was torn in half, lying in two major sections across the ocean floor. Yet, even this major discovery didn't provide the answers investigators had hoped for. The precise cause of the tragedy remains unknown. Some experts have suggested a sudden and catastrophic technical malfunction, a systems failure that led to instant destruction. Others suspect a possible collision, perhaps with another vessel or submerged object. A darker theory proposes intentional sabotage, though no solid proof has ever been found to validate that claim. The true reason for the Dakar's sinking continues to evade investigators. Its story, and the fate of the 69 men aboard, remains one of the most enduring naval mysteries of the 20th century, buried beneath layers of water, steel, and silence. The vanishing depths, the strange disappearance of the Minerve. Only 2 days after the Inns Dakar disappeared, another underwater tragedy struck, this time involving the French submarine Minerve. The Minerve was a diesel-electric submarine, agile, modern, and considered dependable. Commissioned in 1964, she was among the French Navy's more reliable and advanced vessels of the era. On January 27, 1968, the Minerve was participating in a standard training operation, just a few nautical miles off the coast of Toulon, France. That morning, the Mediterranean Sea was rough. Strong winds and choppy waters dominated the area, challenging but not uncommon for that region. At exactly 7:55 a.m., Minerve transmitted what would be her final communication, a simple update on her location and estimated return time. Everything in that message seemed routine. But shortly afterward, contact was lost. No distress beacon, no emergency message, only silence. When Minerve failed to reach her destination, alarm bells rang. The French Navy sprang into action, organizing a swift and massive search operation. Ships and aircraft were immediately dispatched to comb the waters around Toulon. Even the legendary Jacques Cousteau joined the mission, utilizing his team's cutting-edge underwater equipment in hopes of locating the lost sub. But the search yielded nothing. No wreckage, no debris, no signals. It was as though the Minerve had simply vanished into the deep. For over 5 decades, the Minerve's fate remained one of the most haunting enigmas in Mediterranean maritime history. Then, in 2019, thanks to remarkable advancements in sonar scanning, the mystery took a dramatic turn. The wreck of the Minerve was discovered approximately 45 kilometers south of Toulon, resting at a depth of over 2,300 meters beneath the ocean surface. The discovery provided long-awaited answers for the families of the 52 crew members lost aboard, but it also raised fresh uncertainties. The condition of the wreck suggested that a sudden and violent incident had occurred, possibly linked to mechanical malfunction or rough sea conditions on the day she disappeared. Without a comprehensive recovery and investigation of the site, the precise cause remains unknown. What makes the Minerve story even more chilling is just how close she was to safety. Unlike the Inns Dakar, which vanished far out in the Mediterranean, Minerve disappeared within visible range of her home port, mere miles from reaching land. 52 sailors were lost instantly, and it happened just 2 days after the Dakar's disappearance. The Mediterranean Sea, usually a symbol of calm and predictability, suddenly became the backdrop for 2 of the Cold War's eeriest submarine tragedies. In the span of a week, 2 submarines from 2 different nations vanished without warning, transforming a peaceful stretch of ocean into one of the Cold War's most mysterious battlegrounds. Into the abyss, the enigmatic fate of USS Scorpion, the 3rd and final submarine to vanish during that dark stretch of 1968 was the USS Scorpion, an American nuclear-powered attack submarine whose disappearance added yet another layer to the growing mystery of the seas. Commissioned in the late 1950s, The Scorpion was part of the skipjack class, known for their speed, stealth, and nuclear capabilities. Armed with torpedoes and equipped with cutting-edge sonar and communication systems, she was considered a formidable force beneath the waves. In May 1968, the Scorpion was making her way back to Norfolk, Virginia, after a deployment in the Mediterranean Sea. She had been conducting surveillance missions and training exercises, many of which were cloaked in Cold War secrecy. On May 21st, the Scorpion made what would be her final radio transmission, reporting her position in the mid-Atlantic and estimating her return time to port. And then, nothing. The submarine never arrived. No further messages were received. The United States Navy grew concerned, and within days, a full-scale search was underway. Ships, aircraft, and underwater surveillance tools swept the Atlantic, desperately attempting to locate any sign of the missing vessel. But time passed, and there was no word, no evidence of what had happened. On June 5th, the USS Scorpion was officially declared lost at sea. It wasn't until October 1968, 5 months later, that her wreck was located on the Atlantic seabed, approximately 400 miles southwest of the Azores, lying at a depth of over 3,000 meters. The submarine was broken apart, its hull twisted and crushed, clearly the victim of some catastrophic internal event. Yet the exact cause of the disaster remains a source of speculation and controversy. Some experts suggest a torpedo malfunction, a faulty warhead possibly triggered an explosion inside the submarine itself. Others believe the vessel may have experienced structural failure, or perhaps suffered from issues tied to her nuclear reactor. Still, there are more speculative theories. Some propose that the Scorpion was sunk by a Soviet submarine, the victim of Cold War tensions pushed too far beneath the waves. Others point to mechanical flaws that had been noted even before her final mission, problems that may have never been properly addressed. What deepens the mystery is that the USS Scorpion was one of 3 submarines lost in early 1968, all under strange and unexplained circumstances: the Dakar, the Minerve, and now the Scorpion. 3 subs, 3 different navies, all gone without warning in the space of just 5 months. Was it all coincidence? A string of tragic but unrelated accidents? Or is it possible that a deeper, undisclosed connection links these Cold War disappearances? The remains of the Scorpion rest in silence on the ocean floor, her 99 crew members entombed with her. The full story of what happened that May Day in 1968 remains locked in the deep, another riddle the sea refuses to surrender.